As with this morning, we are going to come down and begin our practice on the ground. You can, just kind of slide your hands down your legs, come down to your knees and your hands. If you are able, we're going to do an incredible strengthening and opening movement for the hips, as well as the legs and knees and ankles. It's a great posture. So cross your feet at the ankles. Bring your hands forward and then lean as far forward as you can and start bending your knees, coming down gently, gently, and sitting on the floor. Good. Now, bring your feet flat on the floor, palms are up in front of you, and gently roll down one vertebra at a time onto your back. We're going to do the same breathing because this is a really great point here, point right at the lower dantian. So bring your 4 fingers of each hand, just pressing gently into your navel and around your navel. You're going to inhale. Don't press at all, just let the hands lift up as the lower abdomen moves up when the diaphragm moves down. Exhale through the nose, squeezing in a little bit at the end. Inhale through the nose. And you can have your eyes partially closed. If it's evening, it's okay to go ahead for this breath work to close the eyes fully. You'll have them open for the other parts of the practice. Inhale. Exhale. Just continue, we'll do a few more breaths here. Begin really letting go of your day, or if it's morning for you, go ahead and let go of the sleepiness of the evening. Just come into the present moment. One more breath. Release the hands. For our first move, we are going to bring both feet into the chest and rock side to side. This is a Dao Yin movement, very similar to yoga. If this is hard, you can put your hands on your rib cage and bring your knees to one side and then the other. We'll all be doing that in a moment. But if you're able to actually lift your hips off the floor, grab opposite elbows. This is really good for the hips, the lower back, all connected there. And just rock. Release the legs down. And before we do some cat stretching to eat one side or the other, we're going to do the mountain rising. This is one of the best things you can do for strengthening your legs and your hips every morning before you get out of bed. Imagine that you're peeling your hips and then your vertebrae one at a time off the floor, lifting up, really pressing the hips up, and then lowering down from the spine back to the hips. Inhale as you lift. Imagine this beautiful mountain earth energy rising up. And then exhale, lower. Feel the gentle movement. Feel the opening within the hips as you press up. And then really curve them forward, curving the pelvis forward. When you settle down, we'll do one more. Good. And now let's bring our hands to our rib cage. If you cannot lift your hips, you're going to be bringing them to one side and then the other with the feet on the floor. If you are able and have a good core strength in your abdomen, which we want also, that protects our spine and our legs, we're going to bring the feet up. You can let the feet hang heavy. The knees are up. And you're going to just drop them to one side. Keep the chin gazing up. We want to focus on the lower spine and opening. You can bring one hand even off the ribs if you like to bring that leg down, but you can keep the hands on the rib cage as well. Bring the legs back to center and then lower them to the other side. Scooch. Just breathe gently as you hold. Coming back up, and we're going to go ahead and hold our knees and relaxing the legs, using your arms, start circling both knees at the same time, lifting the lower back off the floor if you're able. And let's go the other way. These are all beautiful movements to do every morning. So nourishing for waking up the body, but they're also great at night because they help you clear and release stagnant energy. Good. Put the feet flat on the floor again, slide them as far away from you as you're able. Hands in front, palms up, and slowly unpeel yourself from the floor as you rise up. And we are going to do the turtle again. It's such a great movement. Soles of the feet together, holding onto your feet or to your ankles. And we're going to go ahead and exhale. Keep the chin up as you come forward. Then tuck the chin, curve the spine, coming back up, and then arching forward on the exhale. Inhale, draw in, come up, and exhale, let go. You can close the eyes if you want. You can keep them open partially. Just feel the articulation of your spine and the opening in the hips. On the next one, we're going to come and hold forward and hang heavy. Come sitting and just hold your feet now. Don't try to press the knees down, just bring the feet in. If you are able, you can even bring your hands to touching at heart center. Whatever works for you. This really is a great strengthening of the heart when you touch the soles of your feet and your palms. Yongquan, kidney 1 points touching, and Lao Gong, pericardium 8 points touching in the palms. And release. Good. Go ahead and get up in any way that feels safe, but if you're working on that strengthening, bring your feet as close to you as possible. The ankles are crossed, and then lean forward, really coming forward. You're on the outside of your feet, and then you set your feet down. That is worth practicing. It took me a good few weeks to get it, and it was so worth it. Just wonderful flexibility and health in the joints. Let's do some very kind of casual drawing down the heavens, pausing here by the navel. Settling that energy. Good. We're going to do a couple of bear postures that are really great for strengthening the legs, moving the lower back, opening in the hips, and they're just super wonderful for your health. Go ahead and put your weight into one foot. Don't let the hip drop out. Keep it nice and firm. We're going to sink down from here. Put your weight firmly. Bring your hands to loose fists by your hips for a moment, and step out nice and wide, and then place the foot down. If you need, you can move the feet wider apart. And we're going to do bear scratching its back. We're going to move from one side, imagining that we're reaching our back, scratching against a tree, to the other, lowering and lifting a little bit within the legs, Coming back to the first side, shift your weight into that leg and bring the feet side by side. All right, I'm gonna move over just so you can see me. Put your weight into the opposite foot. Bring the foot out nice and wide and then settle. Okay, lowering down. Nice round arms of the bear. And we're moving from side to side, strengthening and opening within your hips. Breathing gently. And come back to the first side. Shift your weight into that leg and come back. As I said this morning, even just shifting your weight is so good for the hips. We are going to do some hip circles before we move into the next bear posture. And we'll bring our hips forward to the side and around and forward again. Imagining a bowl and your body touching the insides of the bowl each time you move around. That keeps the movement fluid and the hips gently circling. Let's go the other way. Do 2 more here. Good. Bring your weight into the first side again, the first foot. And we're going to go ahead and do the bear forages. So bring your hands, actually we're going to bring the hands out to the side of the leg that's bearing the weight. So kind of figure out which leg you're going to step with and bring your hands to the weight bearing side. Set your weight down. Step the foot out nice and wide. And then we're going to bring the bear foraging. So it's going to come around, up, and over. Really feel that settling down, coming to the leg you stepped out with one more time. Put your weight into that leg and lift the opposite leg. This is wonderful to bring a wonderful movement within, bring your foot by that second side, the synovial fluid within the hips. Put the weight in the second side, the hands are over there, and set the weight down and bring the leg out and then step down. Draw the hands across and over. Coming to the leg that stepped out, put your weight in that leg and lift the other leg. We have extension, stimulation, compression of the hip here. Wonderful. We don't often think about balance as essential for the hips, but balancing postures, especially when we're on one leg and we're off angle, rejuvenate and bring fluid to these areas. It also strengthens your bones, and the stronger the bones and the tendons of the hip, you won't be a statistic. You won't have that fall. It's just such a wonderful thing. Set the weight down in that first foot. The hands are on that weight-bearing side. Bring the foot out wide and then step. Bring the hands around, up, around to the other side, back to where you stepped out. Put the weight in that foot and lift the leg. You might just be here. You might need to be working on all of this. That's fine, but you'll get there. Put your weight in the second side. Hands are on that side. Weight sets down. Reach and then step. Feel your hips right here. They're making this bend possible. It's really remarkable. Coming across, up and over. Shift your weight. Lift the leg. Feel that stability and settle. Good, wonderful. Bring the feet side by side. We're going to do another balancing move that works through the whole leg. And it also does the same kind of compression and opening within the hip crease, really working along the hip flexors as well as the supporting gluteus maximus and hamstrings. So go ahead, bring the hands down by your sides. Inhale, step forward with the hands coming overhead, lift the back heel. Here, you can feel a little opening right along the hip. You can feel a strengthening on the hip on the other side. Then we exhale, lower the hands, bring the leg through, really working with that hip joint to make this possible. Inhale, hands come up, step back to your toe. Exhale, shift the feet side by side. Inhale again. Hands come up, lift the back heel. Exhale, lower the hands, lift the knee. Inhale, hands come up, step back to the toe, and shift the feet side by side. For this one, when we bring the leg up, if you're able, we're really going to get a nice deep compression. Great for the knee, but also great for the hip. Stretching and working within that hip, letting the area flush with blood and fluids when you release. Inhale, step forward, lift the arms and back heel. Exhale, lower the arms and hug the knee in. Gaze at a point in the distance or on the ground. Inhale, lift up, step back. Exhale, bring the feet side by side. Inhale, step forward with the second foot, lift the heel. Exhale, lower the arms to hug the knee in. Feel that compression in the hip. Inhale, step up, toe back. Exhale, feet side by side. Good, I love that. We're going to do a movement that we actually did for our sleep series. It's really wonderful for working within the hips. So come out about 1.5 to 2 times shoulder width. You can always have a more narrow stance. You just won't bend the knees as far. The knees are straight, the hips are straight as we begin this move. We inhale, the hands float up to the outside and into the front. Then we exhale, bending the legs, pausing a moment. Hands come down, we come out and inhale. Exhale. Pause. Release. Inhale. Exhale, lower. Inhale. Ideally, the toes are forward, but if that's uncomfortable, you can point them outward. And we'll just flow through this a few more times. Do one more. Hand to the heart. Bring the feet about hip width apart. Bring your hands to your sides and close your eyes and go within just a moment. Tune in to your hips. your legs really supporting you. What do you notice? Tune in to your heart rate, your emotions. What do you feel? And then let that all go, flowing down into the earth, clearing your energy, clearing expectations. Open your eyes. Good. We're going to do a forward, reaching back and folding forward movement. This is really great for opening and compressing at the front of the hips. Also really opens along the back of the legs, the back of the lower back, and is so great for hip health. For this, you want to be mindful of what you want. If you want to work on opening the lower back to support the hips, bend your knees more. If you are feeling good in the low back today, your legs can be a little bit straighter when you fold forward. We're going to go ahead and we're going to bring the hands in through center. Inhale them up and over. Exhale, bring them to your low back, the palms touching. Then you're going to inhale, lift up, come back, feel the opening at the front of the hips. And then exhale, sweep your hands down the back of your legs, grab opposite elbows and hold and hang heavy. Brush your toes, bring your hands to your hips and come up. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, the hands come up and over. Exhale, float them down, palms on the back. Inhale, lift, open along the front. Exhale, fold, sweep down the back of your legs and hang. Brush your toes, hands to the hips, and come up. Good. We're going to do side bends. Side bends are fabulous for opening all along, of course, the rib cage, but we also open down onto the sides of the hips. Really wonderful expression of clearing blockages along the side. We also, from the standing position, are continuing to activate the belt meridian as well as clearing lymphatic drain, allowing lymphatic drainage in the hips. For this, if you're able, bring the back of one hand to the back. The other hand comes up and over and touches. Wherever it lands is fine. You can modify this by bringing your hands just to your sides or having one hand up. But it is really great. You get a deeper stretch and you also work on shoulder health when you have the arms in this position. Inhale, lift up, soften the knees, tuck the pelvis. Exhale, bend to one side. Don't jut the hip out, but notice the hip really opening as you lift and fold. Gaze at a point on the floor in front of the toe and breathe gently. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, change your hands. Inhale, lengthen, lift. Exhale, bend. Gaze at a point on the floor about 40 degrees in front of your little toe. Breathe gently. Inhale, up. Exhale, one more time each side. Inhale, move the hands into place and lift. Exhale, bend. Really feel that opening. If you don't, it's okay. You're still opening. You might just not feel it. My husband has a really hard time feeling things around his hips for some reason, so that's very normal. Changing the hands, lift up. Exhale, bend. Inhale and exhale, lower. Good. We are going to do a standing. We did standing this morning with the hands in book pose. We're going to do standing today with the hands in this evening pointing, or morning, wherever you are, towards our lower dantian. So step out nice and wide. The toes should point forward. If that means you don't come as far down, that's okay. If it hurts, you can angle the toes out. Bring the hands just pointing, palms, fingertips point towards each other, and the palms point towards the navel and the area below the navel. Gaze into the distance and breathe gently. Just settle in. The spine is straight, the pelvis is tucked. I'm going to be here for a minute, so just relax the muscles along the bones of the legs. Feel the compression in the hips as you sit. Probably notice an opening on the adductors on the inside of the legs and hip. And just breathe in and out of your nose. Let go of tension, any to-do lists that you have. Let them melt away. This is so good for circulating chi throughout your body. Just have a few more seconds. And release. Wow, well done. Bring the feet back side by side. And we'll do those 3 a little bit faster natural respiration breaths, pausing at the lower dantian. Inhaling up, exhale down. One more. And we're going to do a little energetic healing. We're going to do single leg rising and falling and double leg rising and falling. So what this means, for the first time, we're going to bring both hands. We're going to bring it to the outside of our hip and fold forward, letting it come down the outside of the leg. Then we bring our hands without touching. We're just energetically about an inch away, come up the inside across our lower abdomen, down the outside of the other leg, and up the inside of this leg, and then settle. Okay? So we're going to do that a couple of one time on each side. Sorry. And let's just breathe gently as we float down over the feet or wherever you can reach, up the inside of the leg, across the lower abdomen, down the outside, and then up the inside and settle. Now, double leg rising and falling. We're going to do both legs at the same time, one hand on each leg. Fold forward, bringing the hands down the outside of the legs and up the inside. Pause with the hands at the lower dantian. We'll do one more. And release. Bring your feet side by side for bamboo swaying in the wind. Actually, pause. Let's go ahead and do those 3 breaths one more time. Just bringing it down. Inhale up. Exhale lower. One more. Step the feet side by side, one hand on the lower dantian, the other on top of that. Close your eyes and go within. Don't evaluate or even think about anything right now. Just let go. Let the body rock and sway. Rock and sway. One more deep breath here. And release. Thank you for joining me for this second lesson of the hip and balance series.